Good afternoon and welcome to my channel. My name is Joyce and I do all things personal development. I'm trying to get this to sit right. If you're new here, welcome. For those of you that keep coming back and keep commenting, I really appreciate your engagement and your input. Today I wanted to remind you that courage is what you need. And I know that sounds a bit ambiguous, but when you think about your life and you think about the things that you want to achieve, courage is what you need. You don't need more equipment. You don't need more money. You don't need more friends. You don't need more business acquaintances. You need courage. I'm not simplifying it, but you need courage to get things wrong. You need courage to fail. You need courage to do things right. And you definitely need courage to try new things. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of commitment. But unless you have the courage to attempt it, unless you actually take action, everything is still a dream. Everything is still impossible. But you have to attempt it. And it takes courage. If you have ever moved countries, you know how difficult it is. You know, you're living what you know. You're living your family and your culture and something that's very familiar to you, to explore something you only hear about. You hear about how friendly people are until you come into a country and you realize how racist some of them can be. You know, but you have to veil it, right? You have to veil it in a way. This is how you veil your dreams in order to have the courage. Because if you look at the reality of what you're stepping into, most of us would never attempt, to do anything. When you think about you're going into a new country where you may not necessarily understand the language. So you have to learn how to speak their language. And if it's familiar, how the culture works. You have to then be able to create a completely new support system with people that you don't know, that you didn't grow up with, and unfamiliar with who you are. So they're coming in with stereotypes about who they think you are. You need courage for that. If you are a student, for example, you need to veil that dream or that vision of a degree or a post-degree or a doctorate with beautiful sentiments of you'll get a good job afterwards, or you get to run your business, or you get to write your thesis and your book, and you get to meet new people, and you get to live in student accommodation. The reality of that is that you're going to be as broke as shit when you're a student. Are you prepared for that? Well, jump in and find out. You will have to learn how to cook on a budget. You will learn how to fit in with a completely different group of people that don't get you. And you might have to burn the midnight oil because you have not been able to manage your time properly. It takes courage to jump into the unknown, but you've got to do it. If you want to follow your vision, if you have to follow your dream, if you want to live that vision that you have within yourself, if you want to break away from that, past, sorry, it's a little bit hot in here, past the boundaries of your family. If no one's ever been educated in your family and you are the first one, you got to break that mold. You got to break that tradition. And it requires courage. And courage requires you to focus on what the good is, what the benefit is, and then take action. Because like I said, if you knew how terrible or how much fire you're jumping into, you'd never jump into it. That's why it's so important to surround yourself with pictures and visions of the beautiful life you'll have past that moment, because it is not, sometimes it's easier to draw back. Think about people that have, so I've talked about moving countries, I've talked about being a student. Let's talk about marriage. It's no walk in the park, right? But most of us focus on the wedding day or the focus on, which is absolutely the wrong focus, right? Because that is just one day. Actually, it's probably more like 14 hours. And we focus on it, but sometimes that's good to focus on it, because if you think about all the other stuff that you're going to have to work through, it's not easy, right? Living with someone else is not easy. Living with someone that doesn't necessarily have the same values as you is no walk in the park. But you got to focus on the good thing. You might focus on maybe what this means for your life, what, the next step. You might want children. You might think this is the way for you to do it. However that floats for you, it doesn't matter. What matters is you have to have the courage to do the thing that you want to do. Because if you take apart what it takes, if you analyze what it means, you will probably never do. I would never have done half of the things that I have done and accomplished had I looked at what it takes for me to get there. And that's why I'm saying to you, you don't need anything else but courage. But veil that courage with the vision that you have ahead of you. What is it going to feel like when you have that goal? What is it going to feel like when you accomplish it? When you get that house? When you meet that person who isn't perfect? When you have children? Think about the end goal and the beauty of it. Because that's the only way. But what you need is courage. Stop analyzing, stop over-analyzing, and focus on the end goal. Have an incredible day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.